My name's Andy, and this is the most magical podcast on earth. When I'm not on holiday at Walt Disney World, I'm planning a holiday to Disney. And when I'm not planning a holiday to Disney, I'm talking about Disney with other UK fans like me who make the trip to Orlando and the House of the Mouse. So if Minnie gets you all in a spinny, then this is the podcast for you. Or maybe you're the Disney novice just thinking about your first ever trip to Walt Disney World and you don't know the difference between Captain Jack and Captain Birdseye. Well, then this really is the podcast for you. Each episode, I'll be chatting to other Disney superfans from around the UK to share their memories of their magical times. And this week, Claire has some saucy news for us.
There is a secret 10th source, if you ask.
Also going to be answering your Walt Disney World questions and getting you all the latest news from the parks. Make sure you keep in touch with us. We're on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram at PodMagical. This is the most magical podcast on earth as part of the Secret Recordings Network. Hi to Justine, who's sent me a message to say my husband has never been to Disney, but after 12 years together, he's finally agreed to go. Now, I've been a few times, but not for many years. Ideally, would love to stay at Port Orleans French Quarter, but it's not open at the moment. So when we're booking, what would you recommend? Somewhere that's not too in-your-face Disney. We're in our 50s. Oh, you don't look it. We're in our 50s looking at either moderate or deluxe. If possible, I want him to fall in love with it. Well, I'm sure he will. The good news since you sent me that question is that Port Orleans French Quarter will be reopening. So that's good. But if you want some more ideas, well, if you listen to this podcast quite a lot, you'll know that my favourite resort, if you're pushing the boat out, Yacht and Beach Club. Because you're right on the door to Epcot. You've got the beautiful boardwalk resort all around you. It's really nice when you wake up in the morning. That's in front of you. As you say, you can literally hop into Epcot. There's only a short walk to Hollywood Studios as well. So I'm thinking, if you're pushing the boat out, that's where I would love to stay, Yacht and Beach. Or if you want to do something a bit cheaper, maybe Caribbean Beach. Because again, you're on the Skyliner. I think I said a couple of episodes ago, it's great because you can also use the Riviera Resort. If you want to use their restaurants, you can't obviously just stay there. But yeah, so Caribbean Beach, if you kind of like looking for a moderate, or if you're pushing the boat out, then you can maybe have a look at thinking about the Yacht and Beach Club. And as I say, you know, if you're staying at the deluxe resort, there are now more perks for people staying at the deluxe resort, because now you're going to get those extra magic hours at night on select nights as well. Any questions? Drop me a message, Facebook, Twitter or Instagram. We are at PodMagical. And you can send me a message there as well. Just send me a direct message if you'd like to come on the podcast one episode and have a chat about why you love Walt Disney World. Now, Claire is going to tell us why she loves Walt Disney World. Go on, Claire.
So I think one of the reasons, it's twofold really. One of the reasons I like Walt Disney World is because of the benefit of being able to go with the whole family. So for me, having the most amazing opportunity to holiday with friends and with family, and it's really regardless of age, sex or a previous experience. You know, you don't have to have practiced to be able to enjoy Walt Disney World. So the fact that you have these experiences and you can share them with the people that you love, or actually you can just log it and hold it internally inside you and remember that. But I also have a massively geeky side, which is about the ride technology, the level of detail and the attention to the layers of the story that actually most guests might not even know existed or don't notice. And that's the stuff that's created by the Imagineers, even though they know people don't notice it. So that also ticks my boxes in terms of the geekiness.
Are you good to go with on rides, or are you like, turn around now and look how this track moves as we're going backwards?
That's absolutely me. I am the person who will ride the experience. I'll ride an attraction once, then the second time I'll be looking all the places that the Imagineers don't want you to look. Yeah. So I can try and work out how they do it.
They're the fun bits. Have you done the Keys to the Kingdom tour?
I have, yes. We did that. My husband and I did that about 8 years ago, I think. And I loved every minute of it. And, you know, it's a fantastic tour to do. I think some of the backstage tours are incredible. And Keys to the Kingdom was brilliant. And we were like the first tour in the morning. It started at 8 o'clock, so we were there nice and early. And I just soaked up all the details. I was asking for more and more. And then the opportunity to see backstage was brilliant.
Was it disappointing backstage?
Disappointing in so much it's very concrete.
Yeah.
There's nothing fancy, you know. It is like going behind the wings of a stage in a theatre, you know. Suddenly you go through that door and it just looks like any other industrial area. We were quite lucky. We got to see the Main Street Electrical Parade in the shed on charge.
Oh, on charge. Plugged in.
Quite fun. Yeah, plugged in, charging up for the next evening. And that was really interesting to look at how they sort of shoehorn it into quite a small shed and get it ready for the next parade. And we saw the area where the parades were practiced, that practice area out the back behind Splash Mountain. That was really fun.
And it didn't ruin the magic for you?
No, it just made me want to ask more and more questions. I just got more and more inquisitive. It really intrigues me, and I think that the skill of the Imagineers to be able to put so many different layers of the story in everywhere you look, or actually everywhere you don't look, it's incredible.
And how many times have you watched the Imagineering story on Disney Plus?
Too many, probably.
Too many. And then we've got the new series now, haven't they, where it goes behind every detailed attraction as well.
I know. It ticks my boxes, most definitely.
Let's talk about your Walt Disney World journey then. When was the first time you went? And in fact, why did you go the first time you went?
The first time I went, I checked the dates, and it was August 1991. So not recently. And I went with my family, and it was the first time we'd been on holiday outside of Europe. So I was 14, I think, and my brother was 18. And every year until that point, we'd been to the Algarve in Portugal because friends had a house there. So that had been our usual experience. And for some reason, my dad had decided that going to America was going to be this big holiday. So it was quite daunting, but it was also really exciting. But we did do it. We did do it on the cheap, and we stayed in a Days Inn, which obviously is the budget of budget hotels.
Yeah.
And we stayed in Altamont Springs, which, for anyone who knows the Orlando area, is about a 30 to 40-minute drive north.
Never heard of it. I've never even heard of it.
So you look at the map of Orlando and just keep going north, and it's
till you get to Canada.
Pretty much, it's miles away from anywhere. So we stayed so far away, but we did manage to, and I think back and I look at the photos, we managed to do the 3 Walt Disney World parks that there were there, because obviously Animal Kingdom didn't exist. We did SeaWorld, we did Universal Studios, we did Gatorland, we even went down to Cypress Gardens, which is quite a hike south as well.
Yeah, isn't that now Legoland, Cypress Gardens?
It is, yeah. And we've been to Legoland since then, and it was like, oh, this was a long way. But we were only in Orlando for a week, because the second week of the holiday we did I think it must have been a Virgin Twin Centre type thing. This was all the rage in the 90s, I guess.
Yeah.
And we then had a week in Miami in the second week, which was
cool.
really interesting. It was one of those things that my dad had decided was a great plan, and we had a great time. We did actually go back in 1993, so just a couple of years later, and then we went over to California to Disneyland in 95. So yeah, that was the start. I think as a family we really enjoyed it.
How long before your next visit after that then? Did you then become a regular? Yeah,
so after that we had a bit of a break, so did a few Disneyland Paris trips, and then I think as a family I went with my family, with my mum and dad and my brother and his family, but my husband and my kids, we started going again in about 2011 and have been multiple times since then.
Too many to remember.
Well, I think we did add it up, and it's something obscene, so I won't give you the number.
Yeah. You know, you've got to a point where you can't remember actually how many times you've been. That's when you become a big fan.
It's just one of those things that we sort of have in the back of our mind as you're on the plane on the way home, or actually sometimes on the plane on the way there, we're thinking, when's the next trip going to be?
Yeah, so, start planning. What do you remember about Walt Disney World, about the very first time you went? What are your memories of the actual parks?
The place I remember the most is walking through Future World in Epcot, because I actually got to meet Dreamfinder and Figment. I've got a photo somewhere of me with Figment, and it was incredible because I just remember the LEDs in the pavement, the sparkly ground in Epcot.
Yeah.
And I remember the original ride. I remember it being really, really hot, and standing by the jumping fountains over towards that side of the Future World area. And I remember a very, very long walk up to the Wonders of Life Pavilion. It's a much steeper walk up to the front door of that pavilion than you would think when you look at it. I remember just walking out, this is really steep. But I remember the Wonders of Life Pavilion. I remember the goofy motors, like the bicycle things that there were, and Cranium Command and rides like that. Yeah, it was incredible. So Epcot's the park that really sticks out in my mind from that particular trip.
It's really funny, actually, because the first time I went, my memories of my first time, it's Epcot that I remember as well. I remember the Tapestry of Nations parade in 2000. That's what sticks in my mind.
Yeah, and I just think there's something about perhaps the layout of Epcot when you're walking, because it's so awe-inspiring when you walk in and you've got Spaceship Earth right there in front of you. And maybe that just cements in your mind a little bit. And the Fountain of Nations, which sadly now gone.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I remember. I remember Communicore, and the technology that they were using, and it was hot. I remember it being really hot and a lot of concrete, but it was sparkly concrete, so it was fantastic. And
of course, back in the early 90s, there was no YouTube, there were no vloggers, there were no podcasts to listen to, so it was all a big, like, you've seen it in the brochure, and then here it is.
All you saw was the holiday brochure you picked up from the travel agent, and you might have spoken to someone who'd once been. But you couldn't go online and just watch a video of what was likely to happen when you were there. There was no chance of that. So it was all new and very exciting.
Things must have come and gone over the last 30 years since you went. So is there one particular attraction that you're disappointed isn't there anymore?
Oh, I think I would be hard-pressed to name one. But I love the original Universe of Energy. And I know that sounds odd. Not many people have said that. I just think the ride technology for Universe of Energy was incredible. We're not the Ellen version, but the original version.
Oh, I don't remember the original, but I remember the Ellen version.
And that was old. There was something really atmospheric about the smell in that ride, and I know that the smells sometimes bring back memories so easily, don't they? But there was something about the original bit where you sat in the theatre seating, and then it moved into the first area, which had the prehistoric bit with the big animatronic dinosaurs, and there was like a misty atmosphere, and the smell, it almost smelled like bubblegum, and I can almost smell it now just talking about it. It was so clear. So I loved Universe of Energy and Horizons, and again it's that future world area, which was, even in 91, was probably outdated, but it was so quirky and different. I think that really is something that I miss. I'm hoping that the new Epcot looks amazing. Bit of a building site at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult for them to encapture what the future will be. I mean, it was like a dated vision of the future back then. So I don't know what they're going to do now. It's
really hard, isn't it? Because as soon as you've thought about it, it's probably outdated. And certainly in technology wise, what you think is going to be current in 2 years' time, it will have been and gone. So I'm intrigued as to how the Imagineers are going to sort of try and future-proof what they're doing.
As we're talking about favourite things, let's run through some of your favourite things. Let's start off with that favourite attraction that's there now.
That's easy for me, the Jungle Cruise. I am a massive Jungle Cruise fan. I know it's not for everyone, but I adore the corny dad jokes that go all the way through it, and the really clever puns and the subtlety that comes with things like the queue line. The audio that goes around in the queue line is really clever, and I like that every Jungle Cruise is different, even though the script is the same, and that's all reliant on the skippers. I think it's brilliant. I can't ride it enough.
Yeah, have you had some really brilliant skippers?
Oh, we've had some great skippers, and we've had some skippers who weren't so great. Yeah. And then we've had some really great skippers who've died on their feet because the boat is full of people who just aren't listening properly. And, we're chuckling away and I'm laughing away and I'm thinking, you're missing the best jokes.
Get involved. It's supposed to get involved. What do you think about the changes they've made to it? You're looking forward to seeing those next time you go?
I am. I'm really looking forward to it. I was a bit dubious. I was that, don't touch my ride. But actually, I think what it looks like they've done, they've just brought it into the 21st century. And I think it looks fantastic. Can't wait.
And what about the film?
Who's not a fan of Dwayne Johnson? I have to say though, I am glad they haven't put him into the attraction. That was my initial worry, that they were going to put The Rock in the attraction.
I think there's going to be a gag on the ride about The Rock.
I hope so.
Got to be of some sort of play on words about rock.
They've missed a trick if they haven't.
Yeah, we'll write it for them next time we go and go, The Rock. We'll start ad-libbing.
What a great idea. That's totally what I'm going to do.
When it comes to accommodation, are you on-site or are you off-site?
We are off-site people.
Okay.
We have stayed on-site, stayed in Old Key West a couple of times, which is, it's beautiful. But I think that the price now is just so incredibly high, particularly for the DVC resorts if you're not a DVC member. So for us, off-site in a vacation home or a villa really works. We've got a family of 4 who got two kids who are quite different in ages. So I always joke that staying in a hotel room, possibly someone's not coming out alive at the end of 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's a bit cramped.
Having the flexibility, the space, and the ability to move around in a villa, it really works for us. Having your own pool is fantastic, and we like the off-property stuff. So the off-property restaurants, and I love a shopping trip, whether that be a supermarket or an outlet. So we always have a car. And so, yeah, for us, a villa is the way that we go every time.
And which area do you usually stay in?
I'm very picky about my villas, and I will spend a lot of time researching it. We tend to go for Windsor Hills or Indian Creek. So that's within, I think I timed it one day. It was about 7 minutes from the driveway of the villa to the parking lot at the Magic Kingdom. It's really very, very close, just south of the 192. Are
you designated driver, or do you share the driving?
Well, we do share the driving, but mainly if we've been at EPCOT for the day. I love driving in the States. I think it's just so easy, and I would always choose to drive. I'm the person who drives when we get the car at the airport.
See, I've never driven over in America. I've got fear of, I don't know why, because I love driving over here. I don't know what it is about just getting in a car in America on the wrong side of the road and the wrong side of the car.
I don't know, the cars are bigger. I think that's one of the things, that we always try and get a car that I'm not going to feel like I'm sitting in a roller skate. So we try and get an SUV or something like that, so that the visibility is good. And then because they're all automatic, it's kind of point and shoot. You can't really go wrong. Very, very easy. And the roads are massive. And things like the parking spaces are double the size of the parking spaces here in the UK. So there's no problem with parking. I enjoy driving.
You know what they should do? They should do, these self-driving cars that they're talking about. If you could get in one, it's just got the Mickey Mouse ears on the steering wheel, and you just press that, and it just takes straight to Disney.
Straight there. We should have them everywhere. If we had one here, that would be great.
I'm going to write into the Imagineers. There you go. There's an idea for you. When it does come to Disney resorts, I'm guessing you've done resort hopping for hotels and a bit of a mooch and restaurants. Have you got a particular favourite Disney resort?
Yeah, so I think probably my favourite resort to sort of hang out in would be Wilderness Lodge. It's beautiful, and the lobby of the Wilderness Lodge with that incredible fireplace is just so stunning. It's beautiful it's got the river in it, it's got the little bridge, and then you can walk out round all the way down to sort of Geyser Point area. You've got the little marina at the bottom. You can get the boat over to the Magic Kingdom. It's worth an explore if you've got an hour, just to head there and walk around some of the trails towards the Copper Creek cabins, which, I'd love to stay there.
Yeah.
That whole area, it doesn't feel like you're in a resort because it's so quiet. You've got the water lapping. It's beautiful. And Geyser Point's probably one of the hidden gems around Walt Disney World, really. But I love Animal Kingdom Lodge as well for the similar reason. The lobby is incredible. You've got the savannah. You can go out, and one of the things we like to do as a family is to head there, maybe for dinner, to head out onto the savannah outlook first and just spend some time watching the animals, chatting to the cast members. I'm not sure, they used to do a thing where if you went in the dark, they had some night vision goggles you could use.
Yeah.
And then the cast members would talk to you about what you were seeing. I'm not sure with COVID whether they're doing that at the moment, but that's an incredible experience, and it's all free. You don't have to be staying there, and you don't have to pay anything. You just go and have some time, and it's really relaxing. So yeah, I enjoy both of those resorts.
You mentioned you like to go to Animal Kingdom for food, so let's talk about your favourite places to eat after the latest news now. Claire's on the podcast. Latest news from Walt Disney World. Let's have a quick look about getting to Walt Disney World. There is still no news on where we're going to be able to fly back to America. Obviously, now our American friends who are double jabbed can visit us here in the UK. So if you've got American family or friends, you could be reunited. For us to be reunited with our friend Mickey Mouse, it's going to be a while. There is still no news as to when America are going to let us in. The only update, this came out on Thursday night, is that the Biden administration is working on plans that would require nearly all foreign visitors to show proof of vaccination when travel restrictions to America are lifted. So They're not being lifted yet, but the plans will be that you'll need to be double jabbed to get in America when those plans are lifted. So things are starting to move a little bit. But meanwhile, cases in America, especially Florida, have started to go up. This is because of the Delta variant. They've seen some of the highest figures in Florida for hospitalizations that they have ever had. So that's just worth keeping an eye on. It's so bad at the minute. There's a state of emergency in Orange County, which is where part of Walt Disney World is located, and masks are back on at the theme parks for indoor attractions only at the minute. So restaurants and all indoor attractions, it's masks back on in the theme parks. One of those indoor attractions that reopened this week is the Hall of Presidents with Joe Biden. His new animatronic is now up and running. That attraction's now back open. Coming soon on the 1st of October, on the 50th anniversary, Remy's Ratatouille Adventure opens at Epcot. If you are an annual pass holder, you're going to get a preview of that before it actually opens, before the official open date. And if you're waiting to buy your annual pass for Walt Disney World, they have confirmed that Walt Disney World annual passes will be back on sale before the 50th anniversary. So more news on that over the next couple of weeks. Also, 50th anniversary merchandise gets revealed later on today, Friday the 6th of August, depending on when you're listening to this podcast. And for the 50th, there's going to be new park hours. So, if you're staying on site, you'll get into all the theme parks half an hour early. If you're staying at a deluxe resort or a DVC resort, select nights, you'll be able to stay in the parks a little bit longer. The first few dates for those have been revealed. So Monday the 4th of October and Monday the 11th of October, Epcot will be open for an extra 2 hours. It's from 10 p.m. till midnight. And Wednesday the 6th of October and Wednesday the 13th of October, Magic Kingdom also gets a couple of extra hours for people who are staying at deluxe resorts or DVC. So 9 p.m. till 11 p.m. And big news from a galaxy far, far away. The pricing has been revealed for the Star Wars Galaxy Cruiser. This is not a hotel, it's an experience. So prices, this is what we've been waiting for a long time. Did these match what you thought they would be? So this is for 2 nights on the Star Wars Galactic Cruiser. 2 guests per cabin, it is $4,809 for the total voyage. So that's the cabin for 2 people. That goes up to $5,299 for 3 guests in a cabin, $5,999 for 4 guests sharing a cabin. For that, you get 2 nights in the cabin. There's immersive entertainment, the food and beverage, admission to Disney Hollywood Studios for your planetary excursion to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. There's valet parking, and you get a Star Wars Galactic Cruiser data band, apparently on our planet Earth. They're known as magic bands. Prices, I think, are probably what I expected. And from a galaxy far, far away to a few of the other parks, let's see what's been going on in a few of the other parks around the world. So Paris started their paid Fast Pass system earlier on this week. So when attractions get really busy, you can purchase a single attraction Fast Pass. The prices vary, but I was having a look at some of these when they went on sale earlier on this week, and I'm thinking, Buzz Lightyear, €15, is it really worth it? Probably not. And Disneyland in California, their annual passes are back on sale. The Magic Key. There are different levels to this, depending on how many park days you want to reserve and what kind of benefits you want to have, like 20% off merchandise and free parking. There's different prices ranging from $1,399 for the Dream Key down to $399 for the Imagine Key for people who live in California. Whether that's going to have a reflection on what the pricing is going to be like when the Walt Disney World annual passes go back on sale, I'm not sure. But judging by what a lot of people were saying about the prices and about the structure, it's actually not that different to what they had before. Don't forget, any news that we have between now and the next podcast, we'll update you on our socials. So give us a like and a follow. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, @PodMagical. And we're chatting to Claire on this podcast. So let's talk about food. Where are your favourite restaurants? You said you go to Animal Kingdom Lodge for food. Have you got a particular favourite restaurant?
Oh, yeah, I love Sanaa. Mm-hmm. Sanaa is so fab. And the bread service. I think everyone knows about it. Well, I hope everyone knows about it. Maybe I shouldn't be mentioning it.
Keep it as a secret.
I've said nothing.
Yeah, the bread service.
The bread service, I know it sounds a bit weird, but you get a pile of different naan breads and up to, I think, 9 different dips of varying degrees of temperature in terms of spice. There is a secret 10th sauce, if you ask.
Is there?
Yes, which is like fire water. But yeah. So
I didn't know that. I never knew about the secret 10th sauce. Wow.
There you are.
Next time I go, I was so excited because the last time I went, we found out that we could have the bread service in exchange for 2 desserts. So obviously on the dining plan, you go, well, if you don't want desserts, your 2 desserts can count as 1 bread service.
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
I'd have it for a starter and a dessert.
Yeah, you don't get it as a dessert, by the way. You get it before you food.
I'd have it both ends of the meal. In fact, I'll just have that on its own for the meal.
That secret 10th sauce is custard. I'm going to give you a day at Walt Disney World. Okay, Claire, what's your perfect Walt Disney World day?
Oh my goodness, that's really hard. Can't do everything, otherwise you'd run yourself ragged. So for me, I always love an early start for Walt Disney World. I'm an early morning person. That clear, sunny Orlando morning makes it really special. So first thing in the morning, always Animal Kingdom for me. I'd head to Tusker House for a really nice breakfast. I love the Tusker breakfast.
Yeah.
And if you get an early reservation, you can be in there, see the characters, have some fantastic food, and nip out the side door near the ham, which is an unknown exit door, and you can be on the first Kilimanjaro safari of the day by 9 o'clock. And we love the safari, so I would definitely do that. I think if I've got fast passes, I'm going to nip and do Flight of Passage and probably Everest while I'm there.
Yeah.
Always watch Festival of the Lion King. We love that show. And then I'd probably head over to Epcot, I think, probably for the rest of the day. I'd want to ride Test Track, Mission Space, which is actually one of my daughter's favourite rides, weirdly. You know, she's 8 and she adores Mission Space. Probably Living with the Land, because I have a very strange relationship with that attraction, because I remember doing that back in the 90s with my dad and thinking it was really boring. I now love it. Yeah, I must be really middle-aged now, I think. And then a really slow walk around World Showcase. Probably, if it's going to be a typical Orlando day, it's going to rain in the afternoon, and my favourite place to shelter from the rain is Tutto Gusto, the wine cellar in Italy. And took an hour or 2 sitting in there with a nice drink. And then probably dinner, maybe Via Napoli. It's very traditionally Italian. It's loud and boisterous and the food's amazing. And since it's my perfect Disney day, I'm going to use a time machine and we're going to watch Illuminations from the balcony in Japan.
Oh, bringing back Illuminations.
Yeah, is that okay? It's cheating.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. Do you have a guilty pleasure? Anything that, like, because we can talk about this on this podcast because we're all friends and we're all Disney World geeks. So stuff that you wouldn't tell people who aren't Disney geeks that you really love.
I actually really love, this is so sad, I love the First Time in Forever Frozen sing-along.
Oh.
Yes, I know. And a lot of people avoid it because it's, you know, Frozen's had its day. But I love that. I love that show. It's so funny. And it's really funny for the whole family. The writing's very clever. It's a bit of a gem, and lots of people avoid it, so you can always get in. And I would happily sit and watch that over and over during the day. And the air conditioning, you know, that helps.
That also helps. Do you join in with the singing, or do you just like to mouth? You get fully on involved?
I'm full on. I'm singing at the top of my voice, and all the heckling, and yeah, that's me. I'm in there. I'm full on.
Well and truly involved. And where else do you like to visit in Orlando? If you've got the car with you, you must venture out and about.
So we've done Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure, and I think we haven't done that recently because Millie's been too small, really, I think, to make the most of it. But she's now a massive Harry Potter fan, so I think on our next trip we'll be heading to Universal to experience that. We have done a bit of driving around. We were lucky to spend a couple of weeks in Naples, in southeast Florida, southwest Florida on the Gulf Coast. That was really beautiful. But around the Orlando area, I said I do enjoy going to the outlets. Definitely love a bit of shopping and going to the supermarkets and just having a bit of a drive around. Certainly the off-site restaurants I think are brilliant. So having the car to be able to go where we want, when we want, makes a huge difference to us.
You can really find those little hidden points of Orlando and those restaurants that the cheaper places to eat as well when you're not eating in the parks.
Absolutely, and I think there's so much variety. We're lucky that we have friends who live there, so they often give us their top restaurant tips. There are some hidden gems, and there are some places that you are off the beaten track that you wouldn't know about. So we've got some places on our list to tick off next time we go.
And what about things you don't like? Yeah.
I don't do heights of any kind. I'm terrified of heights. So I don't do attractions that are a little bit lofty. So soaring, I do not like. I've done it twice in my life and I don't need to do it again. Even Splash Mountain, Astro
Really?
Orbiter. Yeah, and even going up on things like flying carpets of Agrabah and Dumbo. I don't like going at the highest height. I'm the person
Pulling
who
that
keeps
lever
it
down, going,
the
no,
bottom.
too high.
But my family know that, so they automatically not only go to the top, but then jiggle it up and down so it bounces, and I hate it. So no, I don't. I haven't had the opportunity to ride the Skyliner, and I just don't think I'm going to be able to do it. I've said to my family, I'll sit in the bar while you go for a little round trip, and then come back and tell me what it was like. And turkey legs, I don't like turkey
Oh,
legs.
vile. Yeah. But I used to love them, and now, like, no. I don't know what I was thinking. I must have been carried away by Disney emotion.
Did you eat too many of them? Is that?
I don't know what it was. It was like, I think it was just a photo opportunity with the turkey leg, because it's something that you've got to do. And once you've had your photograph with it, there's a photograph of me. Do you remember the statues they used to have at, well, it was MGM Studios? They used to have the Oprah Winfrey one and stuff.
Yes.
There's a picture of me trying to share my turkey leg with Oprah Winfrey. And once you've had that photograph and you've actually got to taste the turkey leg, you go, actually, this is just not very nice.
That's so funny. I hope you still have that photo.
I'll find it. I'll share it. I'll share it on the socials. Definitely. Now, I know you should have been there this summer, shouldn't you?
Yes, we should.
Sore point.
So we had a backup trip planned just in case the inevitable happened. So we do have a trip to Walt Disney World booked for October.
Okay.
We've just extended it. It was going to be 9 days. We've now just extended it to 16 days. So that I'm really excited that and having said we always stay in a villa, we are spending some time in a villa, but we're actually staying on site for a week because we're taking sound like a really bad parent, but my son's going to university in September, so we're taking the opportunity to stay on site, and I'm really excited. We're staying in the Gran Destino Tower,
right, yeah,
Coronado. So I'm really looking forward to being able to experience an on-site hotel, even just for a short period of time. But we still have a car. I'm not going to rely on Disney transportation. It takes a long time to get everywhere.
Yeah.
So I'm very impatient when it comes to that. So yeah, we've got a couple of weeks in October, and then pre-planning August 2022 as well.
Next summer. Meanwhile, we can hear you every week on the Great British Mickey Waffle podcast. We've had a lot of... we've had Ben on, and we've had Peter on, and now you are on.
I know, we're taking over.
You are taking over. Well, I was on your podcast and said you must all come on, the most magical podcast on earth, and I think you've all been on now, who I spoke to on that podcast. So if you want more of a Disney fix, obviously I'll share all the links on our socials. Meanwhile, it's been lovely chatting to you, Claire.
Thank you so much for letting me come on. I've had so much fun chatting to you.
Have a magical day, Claire.
Thank you.
We always end the episode with a top tip. So the top tip for this episode, if you've got growing kids, how about if you're going to be going to Walt Disney World quite a lot, get an annual photo where you can measure their height. A lot of people do this. If you go over to the Wilderness Lodge, in the lobby of the Wilderness Lodge, there's a character totem pole in there. So like the classic totem pole with Disney characters on. So maybe... first time you go with a little one, have the photograph by the totem pole, and then every time you go back, every year, every 2 years, every 5 years, however, maybe you're not going to go for another 30 years. There's a picture of you as a tiny little one stood next to this totem pole. It's a great way to see the kids grow if you've got growing kids. So that's the totem pole over at the Wilderness Lodge lobby. If you've got any top tips, or if you'd like to be a podcast guest, do drop me a message. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Podmagical is where we are. Make sure you follow us on all the socials as well. We'll keep updated with any news that comes out between now and the next episode. If you could give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, that would also be brilliant. Thank you if you have done that one. It just helps people find us. Make sure you subscribe, because don't forget, we've got brand new podcasts coming out every other Friday. And until next time, please stand clear of the doors.